Hello, DCS. I hope you all had a wonderful week this week and you were able to do all your assignments for not only science, but for language arts and social studies and math and Spanish and PE and art and music and all of that to keep your awesome brains at work. Okay, so quick weekly wrap up. So this week we forayed into the wonderful world of the nervous system, where we learned about, for example, how the brain controls the body, and you were able to do the activity like that, the optical illusion, where you did something and then when you looked at your hand, it looked like there was an actual hole in your hand, and you were able to do something that is known in sort of the neuroscience research world as the Stroop test, which is instead of having to say a word in terms of what the word is written as, you have to say the color of the word, regardless of what the word actually says. So even if the word is black, but if that word, the font color is blue, you're going to have to say blue. And I'm sure you all figured out that it is much harder to actually say the color of the word rather than reading the word. And just a fun fact, there's actually an animal equivalent of this task for lab animals such as rats and mice. So obviously they're not going to be able to read or say anything out loud, but there is sort of a test or an assay that has been adapted for use for lab animal testing. Okay, you were also able to learn some new vocabulary terms and learn about something called brain stimuli, which is essentially something from the outside world that you're able to perceive, and then you're able to internalize that signal, and and then your brain processes that signal and does something with it depending on what the signal is and what it's meant to signal you to do, really. Okay, and you were able to essentially have your first real-world example of this with Otis the Bat and his adventures with finding a moth using echolocation. Okay, and just yesterday, you were able to learn more about brain processing of senses, meaning what are senses and what are ways that our senses help us and help animals. And that's what we're going to be continuing next week. Is we're going to be learning new vocabulary terms, and we're also going to more details about the senses. So hopefully you guys were able to understand everything and retain all that information. And just as a recap, so the vocab terms that you guys learned for this week were stimulus, nerve cell, spinal cord, brain, and sensory neuron. So do you guys remember what the definitions for those 5 words are? Okay, so stimulus. What is a stimulus? I'm going to give you time. Just say it out loud and tell me. All right, what is a nerve cell? What is the spinal cord? What is the brain? And last but not least, what is a sensory neuron? All right, I hope you were all able to answer every single one of those, and that you're all experts and up-and-coming neuroscientists as we speak. And last but not least, for today's Forensic Friday activity, you're learning about, well, how good are you at sensing things? Since we're learning about senses, are you good at noticing details? Are you good at noticing subtle differences? And subtle just means like little differences that, let's say, normally people wouldn't be able to notice. Okay, so go ahead and try out today's activity, but just be careful, because if you do click on that link about the change blindness activity, it is a picture that flashes. So if you have issues with flashing images, if it makes you nauseous or gives you a headache, or if you have epilepsy, please do not watch that, okay? Because again, it is a video that has a flashing image that continually flashes. All right, so I hope everyone had a great week. I hope you will all have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again virtually on Monday. So have a great weekend, and on 3, loud and proud, 1, 2, 3, Falcon Pride!